What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. Thank you for watching this video today. Hopefully you stumbled upon it on the feed. I am trying to be more vocal out there with my videos. This is my fourth video of the week. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I haven't been consistent like that in a while, and I am going to continue to do it. And I have seen my channel slowly climbing up in subscribers, so I'm really excited about that, and I am excited for what God's going to bring to this channel. Can you just do me a little favor, please? Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out, really grow my community up, and see what God really leads this community to. And I have a little challenge for everybody. So go ahead, take your mouse, click it really, really fast. You can do it like this, you can do it like this. Oh shoot, it doesn't matter. But go ahead and click on it as fast as you can. And if you click on it and it is red, the subscribe button, well, be a subscriber forever and I'll be eternally grateful. But if you click on it and it's white, just go ahead and click it one more time so it'll be red so you can subscribe to me still. So it's a win-win for me. And it's a win-win for you because you're going to have great content. Anyway, sorry about the slightly long introduction. So let's go ahead and get into the video. There has been as you may know, my channel has a lot of controversy in it, especially being a Christian. And things are going on in the world with politics and fitness, of course, fitness too. You know, taking the diet pill is going to make you lose weight. A lot of nonsense out there about that. I do want to talk about stuff like that later on. Ooh, a little speck flew down. Shoot, it's a little dusty in here. Shoot. I'm trying to dust, guys. I really am. I don't know. I clean my room. I promise you I clean my room. But, yeah, so... one of the things about Christianity that's been going around, it's been actually pretty new, I guess maybe last couple decades. And I'm going to say decades a lot because this stuff is brand new. 20 years may seem like a long time, but it's really not. Stuff that has been coming up and has been in the churches for centuries. So anyway, I want to talk about tithing. Tithing is something that people like to just really bash on with the church. Makes no coherent sense to me. I mean, you go to the store and you pay for the product and they get their stuff. So I don't, that's a store, but I don't get the difference. Like, you can go ahead and go to a store and pay for your stuff, but then complain about church. I don't understand it. It's like that with Christian communities too. Some Christians will be like, well, I don't think tithes are good because it's not biblical, or it's in the Old Testament. That's only applies to them. It doesn't apply to us today, and that is a little bit false. A little bit false there. So let me go ahead and bring up some stuff. I want to kind of talk about the origination from the 10%, because there's a tiny bit of people who think that the tithing is just made up from the new church fathers, which is completely false. So 1/10 of the product of the land, whether grain from fields or fruit from the trees, belong to the Lord, but must be set apart to Him as holy. So right there, 1/10. If you don't know math, that's 10%. And so back in the day, people would farm. So that's the way they would survive is farm. A lot of people had farms, so you would have to produce your own stuff to survive. And God says that, well, that stuff I gave to you, guess what? That's from me, and I want some of it back. And how they would do it is give it to, I want to say rabbi. I think that's what, correct me if I'm wrong. The Jewish rabbis would take it, sacrifice it atone for their sins, and they would live off of that 10%. To feed their families, and they would continue to be a mouthpiece for God. So that makes sense right there, because right now, if we give 10% to a church, that would help provide for the pastor and the ministries and people who serve there, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you look at the New Testament, the Old Testament, and look at now, that would make coherent sense, right? And people try not to believe that. They're like, oh well, back in those times, they couldn't do nothing because of this, and that. It's like that now. Just imagine somebody who wholeheartedly wants to serve God, and they have to work a full-time job to do that. I'm telling you right now, it is not easy to teach the Bible, especially when you have a sermon. You have to do research. You have to make yourself, you know, look like you know what you're talking about in most cases. So you just have to have a firm understanding of what you're preaching. You have to have knowledge behind it. You can't just, read out of the book and just talk. You have to understand what you're talking about. So that makes sense. So tithing helps out the church, and I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Okay. So let's go on to the next verse in Corinthians, New Testament. So let's go to the New Testament. Remember this, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the ones who plants generously will get a generous crop. You must each decide your hearts how much to give, and don't give relentlessly or reluctantly. I'm sorry, I cannot say that word today. Or in response to pressure, for God loves a person who gives cheerfully. So, a lot of churches uses that phrase, God loves a cheerful giver. It says it right there, pretty much, that God loves a cheerful giver. Right, it refers to crops as, if you give a little bit of seeds, you get a little bit of return or from the harvest. And if you give a lot, you get a lot of return on harvest. Makes sense, you give 10%, you're going to get, whatever you give, you're going to get in return, but you're going to get even more than that, because it makes more sense, because if you give a little bit and you plant seeds, it's going to grow a tree, so that seed will turn into a tree. So if you plant more seeds, you will get more fruits, you'll get more vegetables, and that is like with spirituality. If you give your 10%, as much as you can, to the church, God will bless that, and God loves a cheerful giver. It says don't give because you feel like you need to, or God's gonna get mad at me, or the leaders at church aren't gonna like me if I don't tithe, so I gotta tithe. That is really damning to your soul and your walk with Christ, because it's going to affect you eventually later on, and you're not going to want to give no more. I've seen a lot of people who gave and tithed their whole lives, and they just did not have a good understanding of what tithes is, and they just get completely demolished. Like, their faith with tithing is completely demolished, and that's sad. That's sad because they have a lack of understanding. People try to use the Old Testament, saying, "Oh, it's only Old Testament." It's not. It's not. There's a lot more verses. I mean, read the book of Acts. Definitely a good book to read. Like, that's how the church was made. And then Paul would go and he would get donations from people all the time. I mean, I don't get why it's such a hard decision for people to give 10%. Like, God is going to bless you. And if you don't think that, you don't have faith in God. You don't have faith in the church. Like, The New Testament is from the book of Acts. Like, if it wasn't for the book of Acts, we wouldn't be a church. So, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, this in Mark, it talks about how they were chilling at the temple, chilling with Jesus, talking about hey, what you gonna do, God? What you gonna do today, man? You gonna turn water into wine again? And they were giving tithes to the the temple, and all these rich people were giving a bunch of money, and then a widow was coming up and she only gave a couple dollars. Well, not a couple dollars here, but like what we can understand, a couple dollars. Jesus says, "I tell you the truth, this poor widow has given more than all the others who are making contributions, for they have a tiny part of their surplus, but she, poor as she is, has given everything she had to live on." So this shows right here that Jesus saw that this woman did not make a lot of money and she only gave a little bit. That was good enough. He even said that's more than what the rich people were giving. So the argument with, the single mother who has 3 kids and can barely get by, she can't afford tithing. If she gives that 10%, that could be for the kids and whatnot. Well, Jesus sees it right here. So if someone tries to come up with that argument, take them to Mark 12:41. Show them this verse and then tell them, what do you think about that? And they're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know about that. A lot of people who follow this misconception, they don't know the Bible. And it's sad. It's sad to see. So Mark 12:41 through 44. Show them this passage, what Jesus said and saw, and it will destroy that argument quickly. So, it's just something I kind of wanted to share with you guys today about tithing. Tithing is something that you really, really should do. You really, really should have an understanding of what it's for. It's not just to, make yourself look better and, you're giving money to the pastor so the pastor can have a nice car and stuff. You're giving to God's kingdom, and they use that to pay for the lights, pay for other ministries. People go out across the world, across the states. You have to understand where all that money goes to, and then buildings, and it's a church, so there's other taxes that they have tax relief off of stuff, but there's other stuff that they have to pay for, and people just don't put that into consideration. You're running a fully functioning church. It's not like I'm in my house with two people. It's the stuff has to go into the church, especially with my church's security. So there's money into security. Crazy nowadays. People just walking up into churches and shooting people. So you gotta be careful nowadays, and see how we're just in a country where we can do that. So anyway, I hope you guys can learn a little bit from this video. Like and subscribe to this video again. Share it with your friends. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a fat white guy on the internet trying to give you my opinion about stuff. At the end of the day, we're nothing without Jesus. I just want to say that plain and simple. Please tithe. I'm telling you, it's the best. I'm telling you, it's the best. I have a huge testimony about tithing and how it was hard for me at first, but then later on in my life, it just became a blessing to me. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. And it's Sunday today, so I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. I hope you guys went to church. If you don't go to church, what are you doing? Go to church. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.